This is video 44 of 101. This video is about drugs. Today, all drugs are put into the same category: heroin, marijuana, LSD, shrooms, crack, cocaine, meth, and all the party drugs that start with the letters like M, E, and K. However, not all of these drugs are the same, and we have this umbrella term that we are referring all drugs to, when drugs is more of like a spectrum, where there are some drugs at the end where you don't really want to touch them at all, and then as you move forward you get to the drugs where you need to be very, very cautious when you're using them, but they can have some positive experiences, up into the drugs that just have great experiences when used responsibly, up into something that's extremely safe that you should use responsibly, but it's not going to do anything if you don't anyways. And so for me, this is like marijuana, shrooms, LSD, and then the party drugs, and then the harder ones like crack, cocaine, heroin. Yeah, so that's my spectrum there. And currently though, under the law, these are all the same, but marijuana being in the same place as like heroin? That's crazy. Marijuana actually has proven to have a lot of medicinal benefits. And so I truly believe that the war on drugs is soon going to be over, and we are going to categorize these drugs and use them in different ways. I'm going to play a very short clip from this really awesome docuseries by Chelsea Handler called Chelsea Does, and this one is called Chelsea Does Drugs. It is so honest and really shows you the spectrum and all the different kinds of drugs and how some of them can be fun and done properly. I mean, not to say that I don't think she does them properly, but that's not the point.
Nixon announced the war on drugs. When I was put in charge of the narcotic enforcement effort for the Los Angeles Police Department.
40 years ago today, this country started a war.
We have imprisoned 43 million people for nonviolent drug offenses. We've fractured communities, we divided families.
Today, the federal drug control budget's more than 17 times higher than 1971. But drug use hasn't gone down, it's gone up.
Each year I failed. I didn't stop the flow of drugs. I didn't have anything to do with reducing addiction.
The Global Commission on Drug Policy claims the war on drugs has failed. Many groups call for decriminalizing drugs and putting more emphasis on treatment.
The answer is treat drug addiction as a health problem, not a criminal justice problem. In the last 40 years, we've spent $1.3 trillion on this drug war. We have accomplished nothing.
So why talk about drugs? Well, I think in the near future, the legalities behind drugs is going to change drastically. I think we're going to see decriminalization of a lot of drugs, and I think we're going to see them start to become used for testing in different treatments. And addiction is going to be treated rather than a criminal problem, but as a medical problem where it needs treatment rather than jail. There have been a lot of studies that show that some of these psychedelic drugs actually have a lot of great potential for helping people learn and also improving mental illnesses. I think it would be extremely worth it to experiment with this because we have so many people suffering from these illnesses. It would be great to give them some relief. And if we have that, we're already out there and it's just illegal. See, the thing when things are illegal is that they're still gonna get around anyways, but the way that they get around now is a lot less cleaner and it's a lot more dangerous because we don't know where we're getting it from and we don't know the purity or the content or anything like that because we're just buying it from someone that has it and they don't even know where it came from most of the time. By allowing some of these drugs to be legalized, we're then going to be providing the opportunity to have everyone knowing what's in them and knowing what kind of dosage is correct and just knowing how to do it properly, because if we're not doing it responsibly, like, it can have a lot of very negative side effects. I know that's probably the last thing you want to think about when you're having party drugs is like, oh, taking it responsibly, but you don't want it to be the last thing you ever think about. I live in a city with so many marijuana dispensaries in it and I enjoy smoking marijuana. It's interesting because I told my father this when we were driving here from Toronto, and I told him, like, yeah, this is my thing, but you know what, you drink a lot of alcohol, this is my choice. And I wanted it to be viewed as that even though it's illegal right now, it's no different from than you drinking alcohol every day. I smoke weed. It's just the way it is. It helps me creatively, it helps me to focus, like it helps me plan out these videos and everything and do a lot of stuff with my business, and it really has brought me to where I am today. Not that I'm dependent on it though, and I have tested that to see, like, taking it away for like a week, how do I feel? I'm totally fine, which is awesome. And so the thing is like marijuana is not addictive and actually can have a lot of beneficial and medicinal properties in all the varieties. Like, there's so many different varieties and they can all do different things for you. But that's not to say that drug addiction is not an issue, because for a lot of other drugs, they can become very addictive. This is an issue we need to keep in mind when we're taking drugs, just so we can know that, hey, we can take these and have great experiences, but we need to know that there's a limit, and if we want to have these great experiences, we don't want to pass that limit, because once you pass that limit, it's really hard to get back to a balance. It's kind of like, once you pass the limit, it's kind of like all or nothing, you know, like when people have to go to rehab, then they have to get sober. It's like, well, sober's not the most fun, right? It's fun to do drugs, but as long as you're doing them responsibly in a way that you can manage and that's not harming you significantly, then it's okay to do like every once in a while. Like, that's awesome. And so I'm not saying that everyone should just go out and do drugs. I'm saying check in the description to read over it and learn about the different kinds of drugs. I think we need to really enhance drug education because some of them can have different properties. It's kind of just like sex ed, you know? It's like if you tell everyone not to do drugs, they're gonna do them and then fuck up. But if you tell them how to do them safely, then they're gonna do them safely. And just FYI guys, teen pregnancy has gone way down since sex education has gone up. So at the end of this, drug addiction is a serious problem, but it needs to be treated medically, not criminally. The war on drugs is over. The war on drugs has failed. It's going to be over soon. We're just waiting for legislation pretty much, and I know that Canada actually just announced that within the year they will have legalized marijuana, which is sweet. I mean, I'm already here in Vancouver, so I'm loving it. In the future, I can't wait to see how drugs and culture changes. I can't wait for the day when I go to like a dinner party or something and everyone's taking a glass of wine and no one minds if I like light up a joint and pass it around, because that's just how things go.